Hello, this is James from Therapy Business School. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. On the last video, I was talking about boundaries in regard to time boundaries, making sure you stick to your time when you're working with clients. This one is going to be more about other boundaries in a therapy setting. So one of the boundaries could be self-disclosure or over self-disclosure. Do you self-disclose a lot? If so, I would recommend you take that to either supervision or counselling, and also ask yourself a question: why do you do that? Why are you talking about you a lot in a therapy session? When really you should be doing a lot of listening and letting the client do most of the talking. So that can be a thing where you're over disclosing. Do you reveal personal details about yourself that are not relevant? I'll tell you the true story. When I was going through my own counselling journey, one of the counsellors who I was seeing, where I was the client and they were the counsellor, was self-disclosing all over the place about the most random of things, talking about their partner, their children, a book their partner had written, and I was thinking, is there a relevance to what we're talking about? Because I'm not joining the dots on this one. It turned out there was no relevance. There was no relevance at all. They also made a point of saying how experienced they were, which I found quite a bizarre thing to be saying to me. Why are you telling me that you're so experienced? They knew I was training to be a counsellor, and I think in hindsight, and when I've reflected about this, they were almost putting themselves in a teaching role and I was the student, as opposed to being counsellor and me being the client. So then there was a shifting of the boundaries from their side of the fence. And this bizarre detail about their wife and their children and struggles they'd had, and had nothing to do with the therapy, what was going on in the room. So make sure that you're not over disclosing. Another thing to think about is regarding boundaries. When you are getting details from your client, it might be an idea to think, what's the reason I want to ask that particular question? Is it because there's a therapeutic reason? Or is there a nosy reason? So let's think of an example. Let's say a client says to you, I used to go out with this famous person and it didn't really work out because they were a bundle of issues and the relationship ended and now I'm with someone else. Well, a part of you might be thinking, who's the famous person? Do I know the famous person? That's not relevant. That's a nosy kind of question, unless it becomes relevant that you find out the identity of this famous person that your client is talking about. So have a think about, with the questions that you're asking, what's the relevance? Is it a therapeutic relevance or is it a nosy relevance? All right, that's another kind of boundary. Another one could be, what about the client who doesn't arrive on time? Is that a boundary? Now, you'll probably hear me say a lot on these videos, I like elephants. I love them. I just don't want one in the room with me. Now, if a client is consistently and persistently turning up late, I personally would feel the need to address that. And I do it in a very therapeutic way. So again, using another hypothetical scenario, I can imagine I'd say something like, I've noticed when we have our sessions, you always arrive about 10 minutes late. Is there a problem getting here on that time? Would a better time work for you? So I'm listening, I'm offering a solution, I'm open to learning, and I'm offering support as well. So you can do it like this. So if a client is turning up late, is it because they're rushing from their work, they're trying to find a car park, they're trying to get across town, they're trying to get to you on time, they've got to get the kids sorted first of all? What is the reason why they're consistently late? Now, it's also important from a boundaries point of view that, let's say the session is from 2 p.m. to 2:50. If they turn up at 10 minutes past 2 p.m, you're still finishing at 2:50, no matter what, because that's the time of the appointment. give a bit more unless you feel you want to. But is that really sending out the right message? It's okay for you to turn up late, and if you do, we'll still have the full amount of time. I'll just be late at my end. I would say that's a boundary issue. All right. Now your boundaries are going to be tested. This could be a really long video if I was going to talk about boundaries, because they can be tested from the client side. It could be from your side. There's thousands and thousands of reasons now it's going to happen, and of course I can't cover all of them here. But an important one, a really important one, is to maintain your boundaries, almost as if there's a line in the sand that no one else has to be aware of, but you will not cross it. You will not do a certain thing because that goes against your ethics or your morals or your professional standards, whatever it may be. Alright, so boundaries is a good one. Great topic to bring up with your own personal counselling. I would recommend doing that to see where you're at with this. You know, are you quite a passive person and it's difficult for you to put boundaries in place? Well, difficult doesn't mean impossible. It might just be uncomfortable to do so. And there's an old business phrase of, you know, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. That's where you grow. Alright, so I hope this one's helped. I'll see you on the next episode of Therapy Business School. Somewhere around this page there'll be a link for the next video. Feel free to click on that. Also, please, I know you hear this all the time, but please do the like, the share, the subscribe. That way you get notified every time I make a new video, and it also helps the YouTube algorithm share this content out to other people who are in the same boat as you, who are learning about this stuff or wanting to improve in certain areas. Alright, so thank you for watching. My name is James and this is Therapy Business School. Bye bye.